Good morning, everybody. Good to see you here. Thank you so much for logging on time. The anticipation has been excellent, excellent, excellent. I usually try and get onto our platform when we're starting an event a little bit early, just to make sure that everybody is getting on okay. And I found people here an hour in advance. I find that to be excellent, and I applaud you for that. That's true anticipation for something that's going to be great, and I appreciate you for your time. At Centonomy, we train on wealth creation, and one of the biggest assets that you may have is your time, and the fact that you've chosen to give us some of your time today. We appreciate that, and so we'll try and respect that as much as we possibly can. So we don't like to start late. We start, God willing, on time as much as we can and finish on time. That is my intention for today. We have an excellent lineup of speakers who are going to come and share with us today. A great group of people. Here's just a quick teaser of who to expect. I know you saw the ad, but just so that you know what kind of people are on the way. Michael Oyier will be speaking to us shortly. We've got another amazing entrepreneur, Eunice, Maina. She's just great, and she'll be telling you her experience, especially coming through the Centonomy Entrepreneur Program. And on screen with me at this point, I'm sure you can see as well, Truphosa, Hapisu, who's just an amazing a force of nature. When I met her the first time, I knew this lady's going somewhere, and she has truly shown that ability to grow, to build, and to give us some of those insights along the way. So you're in for a great day. Obviously today, the theme for the day is the business money versus personal money. And I think this is a big issue that all of us entrepreneurs deal with along the way. We need to get the right balance, begin to understand how money functions in a business. There are some key factors that set apart great businesses from people who are just doing a side hustle. And especially for those who are in a side hustle business, and when I say side hustle, I mean you probably are working somewhere and then you're running a business at the same time. The transition from your work experience into full-time business is very difficult because of the money conversation. If we don't get the money conversation right, that transition sometimes doesn't happen. It happens poorly, or it can result in actual failure in terms of the business. So we want to get that right. I forgot to introduce myself up at the very front. My name is Waithaka Gatumia. I serve as CEO here at Centonomy. I also run a couple of businesses. This one is the main one that I do. I must admit, at the moment, my focus is here at Centonomy. I do have a few others that are there. And so I do have experience in entrepreneurship. And when one of the keys to the Centonomy Entrepreneur Program, and that's who's hosting you here today, is that our trainers, all our trainers that we bring on board, have to have had some kind of entrepreneurship experience. It's so important not to come into one of our classes and speak theory. If you want theory, please go to one of the universities that are out there. There are many. They'll teach you entrepreneurship from a theoretical perspective. That's not what we do. When you come into a Centonomy class, we are trying to train you to go out and implement immediately. We want you in your position where you are to be able to achieve the goals that you have immediate. It's not about come and learn the theory of entrepreneurship. Nope. Everyone who's going to come and speak to you here has been through our programs, and so they're going to tell you the truth about how did they leave the class that same day and go and begin to implement what they were looking for. A little bit about us here at Centonomy. I just want to give you a heads up. At Centonomy, we are on a mission, and our mission is to shift your mindset so that you can create wealth and live abundantly. That is our intention. We want you to create wealth and to live abundantly, and those two things don't always come at the same time, especially for us entrepreneurs. I know for many of you, you know the struggle of entrepreneurship. It is tough. It's hard. And sometimes you can get all caught up in yourself, all caught up in the work and forget to live. But those who find the balance between that striving, that daily work ethic, and the search for purpose, the search for that ambition, for life in general, that abundant life that we've been talking about, are the ones who find the greatest success. If you listen to any of the great entrepreneurs, leaders around the world, they will tell you the same thing. Balance is key. Yes, there are times that we're going to be working hard, night and day, where you don't even know what day it is of the week. That's fine. It's part of the journey. But in that journey, the search for balance is going to be key. And we're going to talk about that today. So even in the theme today, personal money versus business money, again, it's a balance. One of the things that we discuss in our classes is to be clear about it, just to understand, yes, there's money in the business. And I know this one is hard. There's money in your business, but that money is not yours. You know, that sometimes there's a bit of cognitive dissonance in there when you hear it and you hear, this is my business, it has money, but that money is not mine. It's such an important differentiation in your mind, because when you understand, I own the business, but the money in the business is not mine. We'll need to discuss that along the way. It's so important for us to get that distinction, but it always comes in context. So for the next couple of minutes, we're going to discuss those contexts, real context positions for everybody who's there, so that we are able to understand how does it apply to us. As I said, we have an amazing, amazing group of speakers who are going to share with us today. And I am just so grateful. I don't even know where to begin in terms of this, the introduction of our next speaker, because he does so many things. and I respect him in so many different fields that it's difficult for me to choose and to begin to say, okay, this is what I'm going to say about my brother who's coming to speak next. Sorry, excuse me, let me get that on the screen properly. So I want to invite the next speaker who's coming up to share his experience in entrepreneurship. That is Mr. Michael Oyier, the voice himself. I'm a bit embarrassed to speak before him because I sound like a young boy, and then he comes and speaks like the gentleman who's out there. He's a leadership coach, a counseling psychologist, and he is the entrepreneur who started the Serenity Group Limited. He is a great friend of Centonomy Limited. He has been with us. We've partnered in quite a few events and in trainings across the board. We know him from his amazing, amazing career in the media, but he is a fully rounded human being, and he's going to share real. That's what I love about Michael's discussions. Michael doesn't beat around the bush. He's real on what his experiences have been, personal, business-wise. I know I'm putting you out there, Michael. I'm sure you're prepared for this along the way. So we need the honesty today. We need the truth so that we can be able to learn. So if you don't mind, wherever you are out there in the world, why don't you just type in the chat box a big hello to Michael as he comes on board. I know many of you saw his face and you're like, wow, 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 coming to hear Michael. Why don't you just say a big hello in the chat box just so that we know where you are in the world. Michael, take the stage, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Waithaka, and thank you to what I feel like saying and calling the family at Centonomy. I feel very close. Thank you, Seth, for acknowledging the presence here. Now, Waithaka, you rightly say that you've set me up. I cannot go the direction I wanted to sound very intelligent this morning and break down all the principles that I was taught and show that I actually paid attention in class. The story is different, though. It's not as perfect. And based on the last class that I sat, I remember, was that the one, Waithaka? It was the entrepreneurship. Were you there for the last class? Or was
I was there for a couple of them, yeah.
Yes, and the thing that I took away most from all the courses I've done at Centonomy is you've got to execute. Now, execution, fortunately or unfortunately, does not necessarily happen as you plan it. So it's good to plan and it's good to start, and I'd encourage you to start wherever it's going to be. Coming to today's business money versus personal money. I confess, I look forward to completely slaying this dragon. We're still in the process of the big fight. But the mindset that's been helping me make that progress in that direction is what I'm looking forward to sharing with you this morning. Let me summarize. I think we have those people that we're accountable to. They're those who have rights to the money, which is at the center of this talk, and that it's important that we avoid being in debt, but if so, plan to pay it and somehow make irregular business and irregular personal money regular. That's what I've learned. If I can make everything that is irregular regular, then it will be much easier for me to get to the point where I am keeping business money where it needs to be and personal money where it needs to be. So let me look at the first thing that I've mentioned there. There are stakeholders of the individual. That's, for example, in my case. Okay, I said, for example, my case, but I'm going to talk about examples that don't apply to me. We, as persons, would have a wife or a husband, children, brothers, sisters, nephews, nieces, parents, uncles, aunts. It even gets to the point of cousins and other people. And in a strange and legal manner, they could end up justifiably laying claim to your money, which means that the money you have in this case needs to take care of them. I don't want to get into the detail, but if you want further on that, you can just put a question and we'll look at it. But then there are also stakeholders of the business. These are, for example, the board, the shareholders, trustees, employees, customers, and very critical, the tax man. To one degree or another, they have a right to an explanation as to why and what you're doing with the business money. I hope we're clear on that. So therefore, I say, while there might be overlaps, the role and responsibilities are different. The roles and responsibilities of the business, the roles and responsibilities of the individual. The two, and this was the thing that was made crystal clear to me during the class, the two entities are two different entities with rights and responsibilities to public and private individuals, institutions, and organizations. So how is that difference reflected in the money or by the money? My understanding of entity as they're seen in law is that they're two different, let me say two different people. So the money my business makes is the business's and can be handled, given, or shared only on the basis of the defined role and capacity. So all the business stakeholders can or should question me. Now, in my present case, do I have a board? No. Are there trustees? No. So I could end up thinking that therefore, all the money that comes in, and I spent this, my life spent it that way. All the money coming in is money for me to be able to use as I wish. And then in the course of business, and I hope that all of you, with the interest that you have in entrepreneurship, you come to realize that there's one stakeholder who's very, very aggressive in getting their share. So that one we never have a problem with, or I pray you don't have a problem with, and that's the tax man. So ensure that this entity is fulfilling its rights, responsibilities, and obligations. When the money is mine, so which money is mine? Not every shilling that comes into the business is mine. I came to accept that. But only the money that is due to my roles and responsibilities and capacity. And here, when we had, I can't remember who the facilitator was, but it was very interesting to come to the point of realizing that there are only specific ways in which you can actually get money out of the business correctly. And if I recall right, that is either through dividends, profit sharing, or salary? Waithaka, you'll correct me if I've missed any there.
Michael, that was me. It was my class. I'm wondering
Oh,
how you forgot it was me. Hey.
And let me tell you, I went to the content. I was not looking at personalities.
I'm glad the content had that effect on you. Yes, you're right. 100% correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that just brings a new understanding to the whole thing. You just don't get any, what? So in other words, I do have to pay myself well. I do have to make a profit. And I want to have the larger share of the company for better dividends. Yeah. And I want to be, now I'll put my notes away and just talk for a couple of minutes and then hand it over to you. I beg your pardon. And say that the thing that you want to be able, and I think this is what we try to do, you want to be able to extract the most out of what you do. So we try to lower all costs so that we maximize profit. In the same way, and I'm in the service industry, I want to be able to offer my service and extract the greatest value in offering that service. But what I had to learn is that even if I extract the greatest value from offering the service as an entrepreneur with an organization or a vehicle through which I do this work, then the money is first the businesses. And then I have to find ways of ensuring, of justifying the amount that I pay myself. And therein comes the whole issue of governance. And for many of us entrepreneurs, why should I answer to anyone? I mean, I do the most work, I bring the most money, and I'm the one who had the idea and the inspiration to run this. Why should I answer to anyone? And I think the simple answer I'd give this morning is you have to answer because that entity is different from who you are. So just find ways of paying yourself well. And that means you need to make your business grow. And that means the best case scenario would be get people who can help you grow the business. And I'm talking from a point of service industry. I think it's easier when you have a product, or so it seems, but the grass seems greener on the other side all the time. So I'm going to stop there, Waithaka. I think, yes, I'm just about 2 minutes shy of the time you gave me.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Great. No, I mean, that's amazing. And that the fact that you've been able to break it down in that way and be able to help guys to begin to understand what is the thinking behind it. One of the things that we wanted to accomplish in today's session was actually to respond specifically to people's questions. Thank you, Michael, so much for managing your time really well and sharing those perspectives. So I'll take a bit of time now to ask if you have any questions in whatever platform. Today we're streaming on almost we're everywhere today. I think we're even on LinkedIn today, Michael, in case you wanted to know. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. No, not Instagram. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we are on YouTube and LinkedIn. And so wherever you are, you're tuned in, you can be able to just reach out to us and say, ask your question right now. A couple I know are coming through. Don't feel too shy to ask your question. So we'll take the first one here. And we are on Zoom as well. So we've got a huge audience following us at this moment. So Fiona Mumoki is asking, does this change with the different seasons in a business? Michael, I know you've been in business for a couple of years now, and you are not in the earliest season. It's not in your mind, because I think that's the first season that we usually go through. I think that's the first place that we get into it. So what has that experience changed for you as you go through the seasons of business?
Simple answer is yes. And the seasons being You can see that, you can look at them different perspectives. So there's the season of starting and then continuing, 2 seasons. So when you start, I mean, there's no profit to talk about. And you're really trying to cobble money from everyone, whoever might give you money so that you can do what you want to do. And you don't feel it's a priority to pay yourself. Now, that's what I did. I didn't pay myself. Maybe it would be a good thing to pay yourself. And I would like to say at this point, pay yourself even if it is just in the books. So that, you see, because if you're taking money from the business, then you owe the business. Now, if the business is not yet paying you, but it should pay you a salary that you've stated in the books, then the business ends up owing you, and that can be sorted out later. So in that season of beginning, I'd say begin, even though you don't pay yourself literally, at least put it there so that it's something that the books recognize. It's something that that other entity has within its sphere of existence. And at some point, it has to take care of it. But then there are also those other seasons of when things are harder and when things are nicer. I mean, when things are nice, you'll pay yourself. You'll pay yourself easy. Yeah. You can see it. When things are tough, you start thinking, what do I really need to put money in? And I even interact with entrepreneurs through my coaching, and many entrepreneurs with organizations much more seasoned, much larger, with great grand teams. When it comes to it, even after 15 years, they're saying, you know, I have never paid myself. 15 years. And I could name companies and you might see that, and you say, what, who, them? Yes, they have not paid themselves. And as I said, you can't recover that payment if you did not put it in the books. So there's seasons of when it's difficult, it's hard to pay yourself, and it's easier to pinch from the business. And when things are good, I think it's also a dangerous time, because then you think that there's so much money, but you have to account for it still.
Yeah. And this is the thing, Michael, and I think I love that you use, well, you're being more polite than I am usually in the class. You said pinch from the business. I think I'm more straightforward. I usually say steal. We actually steal from our own businesses. So the thing is, I like that you said in the books, so that cash may not actually come out, but what you're trying to do is account for it so that we are not actually doing work without pay. Because that's another element. Then it's a question of is your business actually profitable if it cannot pay for the work that's being done within that business? That's a big question that we're dealing with. So that if your business is unable to pay for the work that is required to generate the value in the business, then is your business actually profitable? And that's why the transition, especially for those who are, in a side hustle position, because I have an income from somewhere else. So my income sustains me. I'm still working in my business and I'm producing value there, but I'm not actually accounting for that value. And so when I try and transition now out and get full-time into my business, I start wondering, where's the cash? Where was the cash that was being produced before? Because it was never accounted for. So I love that in the books. My second question to you is, Michael, you weren't paying yourself. So how are you surviving? How are you eating day to day?
Well, you're being horrible. And I have to say, as entrepreneurs, you can talk badly, but we had to make things work. So yes, I was a thief, if I use your words.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
Yeah, but you forced me. Like arm twisted me. Then you say it's not you. and yes, that was the case. In terms of, let me give a very personal example. I ended up in court for a matter that was very personal. And what did I present in court for the purposes of what I'm earning? I presented business accounts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that happened before the Centonomy class. And I was like, wow. What on earth did I do? What did I do? And that's what I'm saying. These are two different entities. The business is the business. I am who I am. And if I am not earning from the business because it's not profitable, then what I should say is I earn nothing. I am at the mercy of borrowings from the business. That would be the correct place. Yeah.
And here's the thing, Michael, and this is the thing that we are, I don't know how to put it, but this is the core of one of the issues we're dealing with at Centonomy. Remember, I started off and saying our mission is about wealth creation. And if you look at any wealthy society, business is at the core of it. The problem that we are having in Kenya and in Africa specifically is that we are not having enough businesses transitioning from that, what I don't even know what to call it, from that indiscipline of money management to the stage in which that business becomes valuable enough for other people to invest in it. So one of the things that people are always asking is, where is the money? Where are investors? Where can I get some money to grow my business? And I keep saying this because it is true. If you look at any of the investment firms in Kenya, they do deals of $50 million and above, dollars, not Kenya shillings, when they find a good business. But the issue is, can they find a good business in which they're going to expect that kind of return? So a big issue is, if your business books are not in place, you can't go to the private market to raise capital. And the other thing, Michael, which has been breaking my heart, when's the last time we heard of an IPO in Kenya? Can you remember? And you look at a country like the USA, where it is pretty much every month there's an IPO. Why? Because they're building businesses that are generating value that other people want to get involved in. But if you're in a business, Michael, I know we talked about this, where the CEO and founder is busy pilfering from the funds. As an investor, I look at that business, I'm not interested at all. There's another question here, and I know this. I really want to ask you this one because it comes from a mindset issue, and I'm drawing on your psychology in this moment. How do I get to discipline myself from being a spendthrift? This is Maggie who's asking this. She goes on with a bit more, but I think that issue of discipline. How do I do that? Michael, help me. Even Waithaka, I need help on this.
So there are two sides. I mean, you say, how do I help myself in discipline? And then there is the spendthrift aspect of it. And it's great because that's the direction. I just put a note just now that there are psychological reasons, emotional reasons, reasons from the past that make us, that we have to overcome to be able to then get into the clarity of seeing and the ability to be accountable. Because I think my money, the business's money, has a lot to do with accountability. I have to have a sense of accountability to the business and a sense of accountability to myself, and separate the two. And then now comes the discipline. So to answer the question, I mean, being a spendthrift, we sometimes spend to satisfy things that we're dissatisfied with within us. So I deeply say that it could need a therapy to break. And then once that has been broken, then you have the ability to see and to make yourself accountable. Discipline is a thing of life. I would say what we normally do when we're pursuing things, we now want to become disciplined. I think we are a little unrealistic in our capacity and the goal that we give ourselves, such that we do not see the small wins that would get us to the point of enjoying and seeing the bigger wins. So what I'd say with regard to discipline, Maggie, is give yourself bite-sized goals with regards to spending or saving and separating the money and the like, and let it grow. Let it grow and celebrate those wins. I mean, you paid yourself a salary this month, and that salary, Gatumia, Waithaka, it's for you. You'll tell me which the amounts, you know what it is. But even if you paid yourself a salary of 5,000 shillings this month, man, celebrate it. Celebrate it. And then next, you can increase your salary. You just write the policy, especially if it's a one-man organization. You write the new policy, and now the CEO shall earn next month 10,000. Am I breaking rules?
No. You're Michael, I'm seeing you took notes. I'm seeing you actually paid attention.
The notes are ingrained.
No, I mean, I really appreciate your time, Michael. I appreciate your honesty and the fact that you're able to say that we are on, it's a journey. I love that you're not saying I've arrived yet. And if you look at most entrepreneurs, that's the same journey. It's what's the next thing? What's the new height that I'm going to get to? What's the new challenge that I'm going for? And that's why I love entrepreneurship, because it pushes us forward. It gives us purpose for the next day. Real quick, as we sign off, Michael, what's the next level for you and Serenity Group specifically? What are you looking at in terms of your growth perspective at your company?
So on various aspects, I like that you've asked me that question, because I don't get asked that question. But one is the accountability aspect, and I'm out now looking for people who might take the risk of sitting on a board of Serenity Group Limited. The primary focus now is on moving forward with the coaching. I recently completed my certification as a group and team coach, and therefore we're working on some programs that can bring together groups of individuals, 6 to 12, in helping them in areas of relationship, in areas of leadership, and in areas of life, and just navigating that. We believe that at Serenity Group, we help people unlock the past, envision the future, so that they can live fully today. So yes, you can get in touch with me if you're looking at any group or team coaching for the organization, group coaching for individuals. You come as a group of different people and you want to look at a specific area. And I continue offering the counseling services. There we're now growing into a team. I'm just talking to a couple of psychologists to join me in that. Yeah.
Excellent, Michael. And I know I asked one final question, but look, I'm the moderator. I can take some liberty in this.
You see what I mean? I can add myself more salary.
Yes, when you're in control, you can do many things. Biggest lesson that you took away from the Centonomy Entrepreneur Program when you were sitting in class? I know you've given us some of the insights that you got. What is the biggest lesson that you left with, if you can share in just a couple of seconds?
Oh, well, apart from the one I shared at the beginning, where it's execute. You've got to execute. You've got to execute. But that's why I'm here today, Gatumia. They are different entities. I don't know if it makes sense, but it's really big. It sounds simple, but they're different entities. They're different people. They're different. They have different responsibilities. They live in a different sphere. They don't mix. And that's so humbling. And annoying also as an entrepreneur, because I mean, I in fact in the profile, I don't know if you saw it, but I literally used to talk of Serenity as the vehicle and extension for doing that which I want to do. And then the money is not mine. I don't know.
I hear you. And I think when we begin to get to this point, that's one of the things when I've seen like successful entrepreneurs over time, that's why they're able to move from one business to another to another. When you hear of serial entrepreneurs, it's because they've understood the separation. I love the way you're talking about Serenity Group separate from Michael Oyier. You're completely different. And so that once Serenity is growing, as it grows, then you might find another opportunity and say, how do we benefit from that and build value? Michael, as always, such a pleasure to have you. It's so great. It's so great. I'm always encouraged when you come on board, because I know I'm going to learn something myself. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Waithaka. So this was Serenity time. I need to now go to Michael's Oyier time. So I beg to leave. I would have liked to stay on to
no worries.
To participate further, but please do allow me.
No worries. Mike, before you go, do go into the chat box here on Zoom and check out Facebook and YouTube as well. You might be able to respond to a couple of questions that may have come through that went through the cracks that we didn't see. Right. But other than that, thank you so much. That was amazing.
Right. Thank you.
All right, guys. So let's get back into it and just say thank you so much to Michael Oyier. Today, the theme is the business money versus personal money. This is being hosted by the Centonomy Entrepreneur Program. The Centonomy Entrepreneur Program, which is about building great businesses. We want to empower you so that your business can begin to build wealth for you. When you look in the world, the wealthiest people in the world are entrepreneurs. Why? Because they are multiplying multiple things, their time, the resources that they have, and they are able to do so on scales that you probably couldn't do as an employee. That's why I love the Centonomy Entrepreneur Program. Just to tell you a little bit more about it, in the program that we run here at Centonomy, and by the way, it is fully online at the moment, especially during this COVID period. It is an amazing program that will help you to create the structures in your business that are required. And if you've heard from what Michael was speaking about a couple of moments ago, the structure of the ability to separate between your money and the business money is key. That's one of the things that will get you the funding that you need for the business that you're going to grow, but at the same time, be able to put enough money in your pocket for you to survive. So we focus on how do you structure your business for growth. I think the fact that you are in this room means that you have an idea. It means that you already are maybe have started running a business and you're thinking about how to grow that business. We want to be able to give you the foundation, and it's a skill. Let me explain. The skill of running a business is different from the idea of running a business. It's a skill set, which is why entrepreneurs are often able to apply that skill set in one area and move it to another. And so in the Centonomy Entrepreneur Program, we are giving you the skill set of running the business. The idea is yours. The concept is yours. And we are able to help you to build from that. And even if you don't have the idea, when you come into the program, we begin to give you the mindset of how to identify those opportunities that are out there. So we're here to give you the full spectrum from idea stage to be able to raise capital and actually even sell equity in your business. We also now begin to give you the strategies for running that business, digital strategy in your business, how to raise and manage capital. That's a massive issue. And when we say capital, it's money, your business money and your business money and your personal money. That's when we say capital, how do you manage that? How do you find the balance? And that's what Michael was talking about here. And then there are some things that you simply have to have in order to run your business. It's understanding the accounts of that business. Now, we don't want to make you an accountant. Please, that's not the point. But as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you need to be able to look at the accounts of your business, to look at them clearly and understand what they mean. You need to be able to look at a legal contract and understand what they mean so that you can ask your lawyer, you can ask your accountant the right questions. And even while you're building to get to that point, you're keeping the right set of books so that you're able to build that. The tax and legal procedures are also covered in this program. What we've been determined to do is help entrepreneurs, to help business owners along the way. And so while we are under this atmosphere of COVID-19, we have continued to give a discount on our programs. You have a 10% lockdown discount on our program. It's an online class that begins on the 16th of February, 2021. So you have some time to get there. And just to let you know what you're going to experience, if you want, you can take down the details there on the bottom of the screen. You can reach out to Ruby, who spoke to you at the very beginning here. Ruby is our head of entrepreneurship. Her number is on the screen there, and as well as her email address. You can see it at the bottom here, ruby@centonomy.com, and the number is there. She'll give you all the details that you need. But just to give you a snippet, just to give you an idea of what to expect when you come into the class, here's what to expect. We run through quite some detail as far as our modules are concerned, so that you're having a holistic view of entrepreneurship. So it's over the 14 weeks, we cover the mindset of the entrepreneur, and you heard what Michael spoke about there. If you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to be able to build. We talk about how to take advantage of opportunities. How do you see it and take advantage of that opportunity? And we train in the area of design thinking. This is a new area that has come up in recent years that helps you to begin to say, am I actually solving a customer's problem, or am I just indulging myself? You want to make sure you're solving a customer's problem along the way. And we train us on how to gather the information, how to gather the data, how to prototype, and then to come back into the market with a product that's going to change people's lives. Now, I am sure, and this is always one of the biggest classes that we deal with at the Centonomy Entrepreneur, fear and vision. Oh my goodness, because I'm telling you, starting a business can be fearful. And if you make decisions based on fear, you can find yourself in trouble. So how do we handle the fear? And then how do we put down a vision that will drive us towards our goals? After that, my favorite class, and that's the one that I take, which is structure and strategy. Because if you get the foundation of your business correct, you can be able to build whatever kind of business that you want on top of that. Then we get into the skill classes, and all these classes are taught by industry professionals who are also entrepreneurs and have done business in their various areas. So we get into marketing, and we hear about how do you market from those who have that skill set, but also from those who've been running a business. We get into digital marketing because we have to understand this space. There's a reason that at this moment we're streaming this on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all these various places. And that strategy, how do you work around it? Then we get into the money classes, and I love them. We talk about working capital so that you understand where's the cash flow in my business to allow me to, what Michael was saying, to pay a salary, to pay my suppliers, and to be able to build the business. Then we do the accounting class so that you can, when you look at those accounts, you're able to understand them. Then one of the most favorite classes is raising capital. We partnered with Horizon Africa, and you can even go to their website to see the kind of business deals that they do. But you're able to paint a picture in the raising capital class that helps you understand what are investors looking for. How is it that that business was able to raise 3 billion? How is that one able to raise this amount? And we look at it, how the flow of your business goes from the startup stage all the way to maturity. We then get back into business financial planning, especially around taxation. We talk about the legal side of the business. And when we're in the tax class, it's being taught by a tax lawyer. So you can ask deep and meaningful questions. In the legal class, you're also being taught by a lawyer as well, who's going to help you to look at how do you look at contracts, what are your responsibilities. And then we come back to the money once again, because money in business, I'm telling you, that's what separates a hobby from a business, money. So you want to be able to make money. And finally, we come back to you. Our focus in the Centonomy Entrepreneur is you, the entrepreneur. We want you to be able to grow your wealth over time, and that's what we train on. So even your personal financial management is important to us. How do you find the balance between yourself and the business? And we have a special session on that, after which we network and we graduate together and build this network that you can see. All the entrepreneurs that you're going to listen to today have been through the program, and you're able to reach out to one another and the skill sets that are across the board. Remember, once you join this class, you will also have access to the trainers outside to be able to send them an email and ask them, I have this issue, what are your thoughts on it? And that's a really powerful part of the program. So I encourage you, the class is beginning on 16th of February, so this will be a great day to register. I've got some great news for you, which is coming up shortly. I have an even better discount for you because you showed up in today's session. But we need to get back to the content. I've sold enough for this moment. We have an amazing speaker who's coming up just now, Eunice Maina. She's the CEO and founder of Bismart Insurance. Eunice is an amazing lady. I remember being in the class with her. She's just somebody who's passionate, not just for herself, but even for those around her. So Bismart Insurance is an insurance aggregator which started in Kenya in 2017 and allows its users to compare and buy various insurance products. You see, when you're solving people's problems, you're going to have a great time. She's a winner of the Association of Kenya Insurers Life Insurance Agents Award for 4 years in a row, and most recently recognized by Women in Africa WIA as one of its prestigious WIA 54 laureates in Kenya in 2020. Eunice is also an author of the book, Sell Me This Pen, where she shares exclusive insights and lessons with other entrepreneurs on what it takes to succeed. Eunice, I need to hear those insights today. If you can get on there, wonderful. I can see you on the screen. It's so good to see you. It's been a while. I'm telling you, this COVID thing has kept us away. You're doing well?
Yes, I'm doing very well. I was wondering who you're talking about.
It's you. It's you I was speaking about. I was waiting to hear from you. You got your time now. I want to let you as much time as possible to share those insights, and then we'll take some questions towards the end. Karibu sana, Eunice. Everyone online, just say a big hi to Eunice. Tell her where you're listening from so that we can be able to interact as we go.
Baka, I am very honored and humbled to be here today. Why I say this is because it's truly an honor, to be an alumni of Centonomy, and I'm very proud of that. So Ruby told me to start with my journey, and that's what I'll start with. And then I will come to my money, my business money, and then we'll conclude. So my journey as an entrepreneur started in 2017 when I resigned from my job. It was a really good job. I am one person who, and this does not mean that others should do the same, but I believe that when I am employed, I give my employer my all, and especially because the kind of a business I wanted to start was competing, or rather was it's called what? That conflict of being employed. So I actually entered into entrepreneurship with my 2 feet and my 2 hands and my head. So I basically just dived into it, and I started Bismart 2017 July, and I would say I was privileged to actually, or rather, immediately when I started Bismart, I saw the Centonomy advert to attend a free session in Museum Hill then, and I attended, and that is when I heard about the entrepreneurship class, and I am generally a curious person. So I really invest a lot in getting to know. So most of my money is spent on my curiosity. So when I saw the Centonomy entrepreneur class, I was like, what is it about? I want to just get into it and learn whatever I will learn. I believe that so long as I get into it, I will learn something. Even if it is, when I get into a program, I say I learned something, even if it is to learn that it doesn't work or it works. So I'm privileged to have started with the class because I started business in July, and in October I was in class. And that really helped me found my business in the right foundation, because all the things that Waithaka is sharing is what I went through. And I'll come to that. It helped me separate my money and the business money, and also to set up the business the way it is. So Bismart, we started it. It's a marketplace for insurance, as Waithaka has said, or an aggregator. Basically, insurance companies list their products on our platform, and we've made it sure that they have to explain the fine prints. I know many people, when they hear insurance, they start, they get goosebumps because insurance has been seen for a long time as that thing that people will tell you all the nice things when you're buying, until when you have a claim is when you discover that you're not covered for what you bought. And so we asked, or rather, why I started Bismart was, why can't we make insurance so transparent that it becomes that thing that people enjoy to talk about and actually look for? When I was selling, I was working in my previous employer, we were told that insurance is not bought, it is sold. And so I actually launched out to ask, why can't insurance be bought? So I'm sure insurance is bought and not sold, that people will actually look for it and enroll in it. So that was 2017. And then 2019, I saw another opportunity. I realized that brokers and agents were struggling to manage their businesses. And we embarked on building a platform to enable agents and brokers also bring out the transparency that is needed, so that you don't have to, when an agent, you don't have to feel like somebody is pushing you, that you can be able to walk, or rather to just log into their website, and you're able to see all the benefits and the exclusions that their products are giving, and the price, and you're able to buy without a hassle. And basically, the role of an agent or a broker becomes the advisory role, not really to push you to buy insurance. So that is a platform we just launched. It's called Bismart. It's an e-commerce platform for agents and brokers. And then during COVID time, I wrote the book, Sell Me This Pen. It is a book for entrepreneurs and salespeople. It basically talks about, because I was a salesperson, it's my experience and the lessons that I've learned in the business of selling, and also how do we, how do we become trusted such that customers will always come to us and buy from us more and more. So I was saying that I was privileged to start the Centonomy class in 2017, October. And that, having a new business, it really helped me set the right foundation. And one of the things I had to do, I am not so good into the operational issues. So after I attended the Centonomy class, and I remember this time we did the accounting class, and I realized, you know what, I can't do this. So I had to hire an accountant. It's actually it's outsourced. Our accounting services are outsourced. But one thing I like about the accountant that I hired is that she keeps me on my toes. So one of the things that we had to do was, how much is your salary? Okay, as Oyier has talked about, you decide how much the salary is. So she asked me, how much is your salary? Because you must earn, you must have a salary. So we set my salary, and then the other thing she keeps asking is my receipts. You have to keep them. I was even given a file to always put my receipts, so that every month she comes and collects all the receipts and accounts for that. And all this, I would say, I thank God I did my Centonomy at the early stages of my business. So I would say I have not struggled with separating my money and business money. And having been a financial advisor also, I think my biggest challenge right now is I feel like I'm more mean. I'm quite mean to myself. That I need to work on.
What do you mean you're mean to yourself? You have to explain that. I don't know. How are you mean to yourself?
Let me explain it. So when we set up my salary, I just put a very small salary. And at some point, the business was struggling. So it means there's quite a number of months that I did not earn, because I prioritized my employees and my staff. And so I did not earn for quite a number of months. And when business has made money, I have still found it difficult to recover my money from the business, which the business owes me. So I think that is a bit mean, because when I look at, yes, I want to recover, but then I'm like, what if we don't, make money next month? So I keep at that, yeah. So maybe I need help on that. Do I just wake up one day and say, okay, let me take out this money? But I always feel like this money could be used to build more. Maybe that's why we are always launching new things. Yeah. Now I've forgotten what the other questions were.
I'm sorry. You touched something that was there. Take your time to find where you are. I was just interested in that statement, because it was really powerful. Yeah, just find where you are. There are some people who are just so excited to be listening, as well as you find your place. I'm sure later on, Emily Koigi, she's in Limuru. She's in insurance, and she's so amazed to hear what you're doing as well. So I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk to her. Have you found your place so that I can?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was talking about the importance of investing in yourself. Do not shy away from paying for courses that will help you become a better person. And I really like about what Centonomy is about, focusing on the person, the entrepreneur, him or herself, because when we become the right people, then our businesses will prosper, because we'll not have issues whereby the business is earning money and you're not paying your employees, and they won't understand when you have crisis, when you're telling them that you don't have money. And the other thing that I've learned is to be very open with my employees when it comes to money issues. Actually, it is their responsibility to know how much we have made and how much our expenses are, so that when we are not, when we're in crisis, we're able to sit down and say, look, you are not doing what you should be doing. You're overspending, or you're not meeting your targets. And that way they understand, and they will stick with you even when it is really difficult. So those are some of the lessons that I've learned about money. The more open you are, and this, I'm sure they are listening somewhere. It's them who actually gave me this feedback, because we always have we call them one-on-one feedback session, and it's like all of them. When I always ask this question: what did we do so well? And one of the things that is talked about is the openness. We are able to know when there is money and when there is no money, and we are able to, plan our personal finances. And also, I took also the liberty to take them through personal financial planning for their own money, because I believe that when you have people who can manage themselves, then they will manage your business very well. Yeah. So those are my lessons about money. The other thing that I've learned is do not hold back. Don't hold back. Go out there and make the difference. Why I say this is because I think I follow more of my intuition when I'm doing business than by the book. And this year, during the crisis, we had started doing this technology last year, this technology for brokers and agents. And, it's like God had woken, that small, still voice. What had happened is that many companies were calling us to do for them technology like the one we have. And when we did for the first customer, I asked, why are we doing technology for one customer and then we go to the next customer? And I asked the team, why don't we do one technology that customers will just subscribe to, have their own systems over time. And so when COVID struck, I would say I was one of the most excited people in the world, because I was like, God, you showed me this, all those, months ago, and here it is. And all what we had to do was to quicken the technology development. Of course, it took a lot of our money. We had to. I thank God, and that's why Waithaka said, when you have your books right, when you're the right entrepreneur, when you can be trusted. Imagine I just went and talked to, I think I talked to 3 people, and I told them about this dream and what COVID has done and how this will transform the industry. And I told them I just need, I remember I said, I just need 3 million shillings. We didn't need to complete, because we had already begun. And one of them, you meet 3 people, one of them actually gave us 4 million shillings. and therefore the technology is out.
Wow.
Maybe I should not be disclosing too much of it.
You're disclosing just enough.
Yeah, and fast forward, this month, was it last month? Last month, sorry, I actually had a dream, and Uhuru Kenyatta had called me to State House, and we had a bonfire moment where we sat around the fire, and we were 3 of us. I don't know the third person. And the most unfortunate thing in that dream is that we just laughed, ate and laughed, and I left. And when I came home, I was so disappointed with myself because I went to sing with no ask. I went to meet the king, and I had nothing to share, nothing to ask from the king. And that I woke up and I really cried to God, and I told God, I want to be ready. I don't want to see the king with no ask. And I remember I came and shared it with my team. Up to now, but they don't tell them. They think that you're going to State House, because I told them we have been invited to State House, and what are we going to ask the president? And we shared, and I told them, you see, you don't go to the president with programs. You go to the president with the problem and the solution that you have. And so I asked them, so what problem is the president facing right now? And we discussed many issues. We said, we are going to pick one thing, which is the health. And we said, we're going to design a product that is going to reach the masses, that is going to compete with the NHIF, so that when we go to the president, we'll show him how the product is working. Wow. And guess what? When we are doing this, because every Tuesday we meet to discuss this particular product, and somebody on LinkedIn comes and says, Eunice, we've been looking for you. Actually, they didn't know it was Eunice, but they just said, we've been looking for a partner. And we have, 500 hospitals. And I said, this is what we have been looking for. And we are going to launch a product in the next 2 weeks. It is going to transform the health insurance industry. It is one product that you can take, you and your friends, and you have one policy that you share the premium, you share the benefits. Basically what we are looking at is Kenya, we love to share. We are social people, we are Africans. Sharing is our business. And so why would I take a cover and I can't add my friends into a cover? Wow. So that's what we are going to launch. And yes, and the journey continues.
Wow. You should see the comments. I know you've been talking. It's hard to read and talk at the same time, but people are just saying some amazing things. Japheth here says that, Eunice, I'm privileged to have read your book. Sell Me This Pen. You hit the nail on the head on matters of insurance. My boss at Pistis Insurance has so much belief in you that you are among the game changers in the industry. That's Japheth Waithaka who was saying that to you. Samuel Nyangi says something quite amazing here. Samuel says, your story is well put, and it shows what Waithaka, that's me, was saying, that when your business is good, investors will come on board. If you and your accountant had not worked together on the books, I am sure that 4 million shillings would not have come into the business. Investors are very clear. When they come in, they are clear on, they're putting in money where they want to be able to get a return. So that's such an amazing part. I loved your section on feedback from your team, especially on the openness side, so that you're working together. They know when there's money and when there's no money. There was a question though. This is from Fiona Mumoki. And she says, my question is, when you are not actually taking money from the business in the beginning, how are you surviving? How are you meeting your bills? You yourself. Now we're talking about me and my money. How was Eunice eating day to day? Tell us.
Wow, that's a very good question. I must say that, as I said way before I started my career, okay, I was a trainer first, then I started selling insurance, and then I learned how to manage my money, and also I started advising people on how to manage their money. And one of the things that I did when I was working was I really saved. And so by the time I was leaving my job, actually I had estimated that my savings will take both the business and myself for at least 2 years.
Wow.
Of course, it didn't happen as planned. The business took more, and therefore my money lasted 1 year. But thank God that at that point we got some funding from Standard Chartered, and we got an investor from outside. I think things just conspired, and then also I must thank God and that my husband has been very supportive, especially on my personal expenses. There are those days that business is really not doing well, and he's always stepped in to support. So thank God he has a job, and therefore we are not fully relying on the business. So that's how I survive. Yes.
Wow, Eunice, and thank you for being so honest. And we talk about this in the entrepreneurship class because, people think that startup capital is capital that money that all goes into the business. But what you have taught us, and I know this is something we talked about in the class, is that startup capital is also money that allows you to be able to eat on a daily basis. That you have calculated that from this money, not all of it is going to go into you need to survive as well. And that's brilliant. Not only that, but there's also other types of startup capital, which is not usually in the books, as you said, like a wonderful husband like yours, who's able to support and to give you the support that you need. Sorry, I muted myself there for a second. I was saying it is so important that we identify those money points so that when you are looking at yourself and the business, that separation is clear. You look at that cash as investment. So your savings was an investment towards this business because it allowed you the freedom to work on that business. And I think that's an amazing story. It's so important that people hear the truth. And Fiona is saying a big thank you for sharing that as well. Yeah. There was another question here. I think just because of the time that we have, I want to jump into, did you want to say something? Sorry, it looked like you wanted to say something, Eunice.
Yes, I wanted to say something about, and this I learned in Centonomy, about being self-employed and being a business person. And this went to affirm my belief that when I was leaving my job, I was very clear, I am not leaving this job to go and be self-employed. Because I always say, or rather I believe that being self-employed is worse than being employed. Because you see, when you're employed, you don't care where salary will come from. You will take your leave and you still earn your money. Basically, if you got sick for 3 months, your employer will still pay you. When you're self-employed, my friend, you're done. It is so bad. So this, the moment I left, the first day we started the business, I started with my first employee. Wow. Because I needed someone to learn what I want done so quickly, so that my work will be to pass on. And I remember if she give you her story, she's still a part of our team. She will tell you that I recruited her in my sitting room, and wow. I told her, you know what? I am training you. I'm going to train you so that you will train everybody else who comes to this company, because I'm not going to repeat myself. And that has really helped me continue innovating. As you can see, the business is continually growing. Sometimes I feel like we are racing too much into the market because I have time to think. You can't get ideas when you're busy.
No.
So one of the things is I'm not good at operational things. So I let people, and I trust that they will do the right thing. And I also have accepted that when they make mistakes, it's part of their learning. And we can always discuss how, the lessons that we learn from those mistakes, so that then I have free time to think and to explore and to innovate. Yeah.
That's right. And keep those questions coming on all the platforms. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, all those who are watching on these different platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and here on Zoom that we're using. Please do type those questions that are coming in. It makes a huge difference. And what you just brought up, Eunice, reminds me of some of the things that we cover in the class. The first thing about, as an entrepreneur, if you are not thinking about your business, who is? So that structure of thinking about your business is so key. And I remember that discussion when we were having it with you as well. It's part of the program that we learn. As an entrepreneur, you need time to think about where your business is going. And you can see the results in Eunice and the business that she's running. Also, on that idea of training your people. Eunice, I'm sure you remember the other entrepreneurs who are in the class. What were they saying about training people in the organizations? Do you remember?
What I remember someone say the fear of, you train them and then they disappear.
Yeah. So why weren't you fearful? Didn't you fear this person will steal your idea?
I believe that everybody has got ideas. And there's nothing that we do that has never been done. The difference between ideas and business is that there's execution. I believe that if for real they are really entrepreneurs, it is a good thing for this country, because they need to go execute and create other jobs for other people.
Yeah.
But the idea of stealing an idea, I don't believe that. Nobody can execute it better than I do it. Yeah. So they will go and if they can go and execute that idea and they create jobs, then I'll be happy I mentored one more entrepreneur.
Wow. That's an amazing attitude. But I also think it's really good for your business as well. And we discussed this in the class, that if you don't train your employees properly, then you have a group of incompetent people working for you. So it is so important to train your people well. And Eunice, you're just amazing. And the work that you're doing at Bismart is amazing. I can see you've already shared so much of what's coming up. In fact, you are worried you're sharing too much. Don't worry, you can never sell your business too much. Do you have a parting shot for the people who are listening? And then after that, please do go to all the platforms, check here on Zoom. You can check on Facebook and see if you can reply to a couple of the messages that are coming through. Some are so inspired by you. This is someone, Matthew is saying, very inspiring, Eunice. Thank you for sharing your experience. It is indeed challenging starting a business. Things don't always go as planned. The way you have said, your story is an encouragement. Do you have a parting shot as we go on?
Yes, I will say, if you're employed, please learn as much as you can with your employer and give all that you have to your employer. Nature and God has a way of paying back what you have given, and do not withhold anything when you're working for your employer, and you need to believe that they are also giving the best that they can in your organization. For me, that is a great lesson. And because I gave all that I had when I was employed, and my boss can attest to this, I believe that the people I have will give the best that they have. And when it is time for them to go, I will let them go with a clean heart. Of course, as somebody has said, it doesn't always work out the way you plan or the way you expect. And that is where, you learn lessons, what went wrong. I've had employees who have really, made, destroyed, almost destroyed us. And I've had really good employees. And all of this comes to teach us, how to deal with people and how to do business better. So let's not be afraid of giving all that we have. Whenever whatever you are, give it your all. When you get into your business, expect that people will give their all. Sometimes they will not do, and you will understand that they were not meant to. Yes.
Thank you so much, Eunice. You're amazing. God bless you, even as you have shared. As I said, just look around in all the platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. Just give them a look and see. There are a couple of comments that are coming through that you can be able to assist and reach out to the people. But we really appreciate your honesty and your ability to share your experience. It was great to have you here and also in the class at Centonomy. And so, guys, you've heard it now. You've heard it clearly. I don't know what else to say to explain to you that this program is for you. You can see someone who came into the program at the point at which they were starting their business, and it allowed for the structure to allow for the proper funding to come into that business and to help the business grow. If you start on the right foundation, you'll be able to build and to grow beyond what you had thought you would be able to do. The second one is you heard Michael. He had been in business for a period of time, but that, the forces, as you heard, running a business is not easy. And let me tell you this, it is so important for us to understand that. I think there's a big lie that's going out there that everybody should start a business. I don't think everyone should start a business. I think the people who are ready and who are willing to go through the difficulties of pushing it up a hill, those are the ones who are going to get there. And if you have the right skill set to get you along the way, it's going to only build you beyond that point. So I'm so grateful, Eunice, for your honest sharing. Today, for those who are joining in now, you may have just joined in and you're wondering, what are we talking about today? At Centonomy, we want you to build wealth. And so we're talking about the business money versus your personal money. And we want to ensure that you have the skill set, the right skill set that will help you to manage and navigate that space. We run the program called the Centonomy Entrepreneur Program. I was telling people earlier on, it is a 14-week program, which is designed to get you through all those processes within a business. So the business mindset, the business skill set, structuring your business, and how to offer a good product or service into the market. And then we have industry experts who come to train on their area of expertise to help you in marketing, in managing money, raising capital, being able to plan around taxation. I'm going to come to your question, Abdullah. Abdullah had a great question on tax earlier on. This is Balkis Uma Abdullah. I'm coming to your question just now on Facebook. Thank you so much for that question. We have a whole section module on taxation, and it's taught by a tax lawyer who will assist you along the way. We also get some legal advice on business from in the legal space from one of our business lawyers as well in that training area, and obviously around money and personal finance. And so the Centonomy Entrepreneur Program is designed to help you at whatever stage in business you are in, so that you're able to take your business to the next level. If you only have an idea and you're saying, like, I think I saw a comment here from a young gentleman who's in campus. Where is that comment? I wanted to just see it. This is Minister Joel Proxy ECC TV, who's saying, I'm in an early stage in business. I'm in campus and I'm just trying to start. That's a great time to begin to learn, because when you have the foundation, even raising the capital that you need becomes much easier. I didn't say it is easy. I said it is easier when you have the foundation that is there. So if you're at that stage in your mindset, I want to start a business, I just don't know where to start, this program will assist you. If you have already started and you heard Michael's frustrations, it's just not working yet. It's just not there yet. I need to understand all the fundamentals to get this right. It's for you as well. And if you're in the stage that you want to grow your business, now you're saying, things are moving forward. I want to understand, how do I raise the right capital? As I said, We've got some amazing trainers who are in the industry, raising capital, as I said, in millions of shillings, even in dollars, to assist you to be seeing what will make your business attractive to investors so that they can be able to grow. And you heard Eunice was able to raise some cash along the way, even for the business. So that's what the program is about. We're encouraging you, sign up for the class. It starts in February 2021. The dates are on the 16th of February, so you have some time to get there. 16th of February. Just remember, we've got a 10% lockdown discount. And I told you, I promised we have something special for you as well for showing up today in this session. Please don't disappear. We have one more amazing speaker coming up after this. Truphosa is going to come and share her experience. But remember, today is the day to register because we have a special discount for you. The fact that you have taken time out of your busy Saturday morning to come and listen to this talk, we've got a registration discount over and above the 10% discount. Usually you register 2,100, but for today, if you register today, it's only 1,100. And then we have 2 payment plans for you. You can register today and then pay in 3 installments as the class continues next year in February. And the payments are there on the screen. Every month, for 1 month, you pay 19,000, second month, 19,000, third month, 13,000, for a total of 51,000 shillings. And remember, the contact is there at the bottom of the screen. Or for you, because you have come early, and I know February, you've got a bit of time to prepare, you can start. We are the Centonomy Entrepreneur Lipa Pole Pole payment plan. You can start now in November 2020, and it makes it much easier for you. You make that registration today, and then November pay 10K, 10K, January 8, 8, 8, and 7. I know this will help, and we talk about this in the entrepreneurship program. Cash is king, and you have to manage your cash flow. So if you're able to pay on that kind of basis, you're going to be able to achieve the goals that you have. So you have 2 payment plans that are there. You can pay in 3 monthly installments, or you can even start now and pay pole pole as you get to the class. It's going to change your business and the opportunities that are there. For those of you who are asking, how do I pay? It's very easy. You can see it on the screen right there. You can register via M-Pesa. It's only 1,100 shillings that you're going to send today as your registration fee. So you can make sure you book your class so that you don't miss out the coming February. The pay bill number is 986850. You can see it on the left-hand side of your screen there. The account number is your first name. Just put your name there. Like in my case, it would be Waithaka plus ENT. So we know that it's for the entrepreneurship program. So your first name, like in my case, it would be Waithaka plus ENT. If you would like to pay directly through your bank, which is also good, we're discouraging cash transactions now during COVID times. The bank details are on the right-hand side there. If you want to know more, Ruby is there to help you out. Ruby is our head of entrepreneurship at Centonomy. Her details are there on the bottom of the screen. Guys, in this session, you're going to hear some inspiring stories and one more to come, some amazing stories that are there. But please, it's not just about inspiration. Guys, as you heard Michael say, it's about execution. And if you have the right tools to execute, wealth is on the way. As I told you, I sell a lot. Truphosa Hapisu is our next speaker. She's coming up just now. She's the founder and CEO of True International Limited Agency. Truphosa is, as I said, she is a true force of nature. Excuse the terrible pun. She's a young, dynamic, experiential marketing agency that is True International Limited, with more than 1,000 active field agents strategically positioned in various parts of Kenya, with a long history in insurance and the health sector, where Truphosa has spent more than 2 decades in various insurance agencies. She'll tell us her story along the way. She is a firebrand, a one-of-a-kind trailblazer who can address clients on board level as well as train street marketing agents. And I can attest to this. I've been to one of her sessions. Truphosa, thank you so much for being here with us. Why don't you share your experience, especially dealing with money, but you can also tell us a lot more about yourself and your business. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Waithaka. I've been curiously waiting for my time to come. But then as I waited, Eunice almost spoke everything I would have spoken about. And that's the beauty about being an alumni of Centonomy. They are very interactive classes. And so I'm so honored to be here today as an alumni of Centonomy. I am Truphosa Hapisu, as you were told, CEO and founder at True International Limited Agency. We are a distribution agency that works with lean, we help organizations that work with lean workforce take their solutions or services to the marketplace. So we take the solutions to existing clients, and we also look for new clients who can use those services, mostly innovative services, and we have different models. So we don't own the services or the products, but we own the models. So one of our greatest models is one of using field agents. Because of my background in insurance sales, which I grew up to the management, I developed a passion for managing teams. And so over the years, I managed teams in different insurance companies and mostly in the healthcare sector. And so I can call myself a healthpreneur, but in quotes, because then I try to stay away from developing the products because I'm not an expert of product development, but then I'm good at reaching people and talking to people. And this is a skill that I equip my agents with. So we either take up outsourced services, contracts, we do field activations using roadshows. We also have a digital marketing presence, and we are able to distribute clients' services through our digital marketing platforms and client digital marketing platforms. It's been really great being in business for the last 4 years. And you know what? I was thrown in the deep end. I worked for an employer, and I was their sales manager. And this was a startup. And so I stayed in the startup for 1.5 years. And then my boss, who was the CEO, came and told me, Truphosa, you know what? We have this line of business that we've started that needs support. There's nobody supporting our field agents. And we need you to register your business, and we shall give you support. And I'm very grateful that this employer has supported me all through this, my 4 years. But then I am not obliged to work for them alone. Through the years, in fact, in our first year and second year, we ended up working for different contracts. People from the UK, people from different countries would approach us, and you know, many people have been brought into the Kenya market because of the innovation in M-Pesa. So the possibility of getting their monies paid through M-Pesa has made business possible. So it's been great doing different things in the field, using my field agents, using my outsourced agents where we go out and represent brands. And that is what we do. You can contact us and read more about us on our website, which is True International. We are all over. So going to what I have been privileged to learn at Centonomy. I'm an alumni going to class in the year 2018. And I went to class after I experienced a bit of the business. As I told you, initially I was pushed to the deep end and I had to struggle to swim. And so I didn't know anything about my business. Today I hear a lot of people saying, I have my business plan. For me, the business plan came later. I began the business, and then now I hired somebody who I sat down with, and I told the story of my business and my dream, where I intend to go. And that was really helpful because I didn't also have time to sit down and write my story. And so we met every week for a long time, and she wrote down my story, and then she would go and turn it into figures and stories. And we came up with a business plan within, I think, 6 months of meeting every week for 2 hours. And I am so grateful. This same person turned out, after she helped me with my business plan, she also became my accountant, because then I outsourced her services because her main skill was that of being an accountant. And she had worked for great firms before. I'm not very good at accountancy. And one of the things I learned in Centonomy, and as Waithaka put it, you have to have a strategy, you have to have structures. And so I began with outsourcing an accountant from the first year of my business, because then I always wanted to run a professional organization. So as an entrepreneur, you have a choice. Are you running a kiosk? And a kiosk is not bad, but then how is your business situated? How have you projected your business to run? I always wanted to run a professional organization, and we have a dream to even go international. So from the onset, I had to make it right. So we hired an accountant, we registered the business, we registered on KRA, we have an ETR machine, we have an accountant, although we are using a second accountant down the line. And so one of the things we've always desired to do is to be in proper books with the government, who is KRA. And so we do our returns, we file our VAT returns, books of accounts, and even do our audits every year. And so I'm so grateful. We are not yet there, but I'm so glad. When I sat in the Centonomy class, I could not wait to go out to implement. And so one of the other difficult things to do was to give people responsibility over my business. I had to be open about our invoices, our receipts. I mean, my bank statements were not secret to me only, And so I have somebody apart from me, because that is what it means to run an organization. It has to run outside you. And Eunice spoke about this. So is it me? So if I end up doing everything, then I will not have time to innovate. I will not have time to dream and even look for new business, new things, new innovations, and go international like we desire. And so I have structures where you hear we have worked with over 1,000 agents countrywide. We used to manage them using WhatsApp groups. And then I had a structure of managing them. There were team leaders, there was a regional managers. And then when it came to payment, that was the greatest task. Some of my contractors helped to pay my agents' commissions, because most agents earn through commission. But then when it came to us, then we needed to pay our agents, because they are paid weekly. We needed to pay them using M-Pesa. So I would spend a lot of money on M-Pesa transactions and even bank transactions. And so I ended up having M-Pesa for Business. And so M-Pesa for Business lowered my transaction costs, but then it helped me to pay out in bulk. And at the end of the day, have records. You had Eunice talking about how our accountants wants records. At the end of the day, I have to remember to pick every receipt. When I fuel at the fuel station, I must keep my receipts. When I eat lunch, if I'm entertaining a client, yes. But the greatest challenge for me was to pay myself. I had a coach. I hired the services of a coach who held my hand, and I was accountable to her. And so the beauty about the style of coaching, depending on the coach you take up, is that this particular coach, it was never her session. It was my session to open up and tell her. And then she would just guide me into my dreams and my desires. And so I remember Passion Profit, Frida Owinga, kept telling me, have you started paying yourself? That is the hardest thing. And so when I went into business, I first started getting my payments through my personal account. But then when I fully registered the business, I had to open a business account. And so I had to learn to draw money. And initially, when the business is doing well, then I could draw a lot of money in terms of pay myself this kind of salary. But then what I've learned over the seasons of the business is there's a possibility of lowering it. Because one thing we kept being encouraged in Centonomy is that even if you just pay yourself 5,000, you must be able to draw a salary in the organization. And so it's been easy, especially during this COVID season, where now many businesses were affected. We are so thankful to God that we are standing. So we actually reduced our employee salaries and made them retainers. And even myself as a CEO, I earn the minimum. But then the most important is that you are able to reduce your salary in good months or in good years, and then adjust it accordingly in better months. And so for me, what also helped me is when we had good money, as the CEO, I made a decision to invest. And so I invested excess money that I had in the business. Instead of going into my account every day to look at my statement, I put away that money in money markets. And so I just phased it out in different months. So I did, one was for 1 month, another one was for 3 months, and then another one for 6 months. And so we earned some interest on that money. I actually didn't understand that language until I did it, but I'm always grateful, because then the fear is most businesses make good money, but then when that money comes, that is when the owners pay themselves with holidays. And I've seen businesses shut, because then that is when you go out and travel. And then something else I've always told myself, I must choose, am I in business? And which business am I in? And so I'm sorry to say, but even in the COVID season, I did not sell sanitizers. I did not sell masks. I desired to, because I saw people making money out of it. But I'm clearly cut out on what my line is, and I stay in my area of expertise, because that is the only thing that can make me grow. That is the only thing that can help even my employees stay with me. I'm so glad that I've stayed with my employees, some of them from day one of the business, and I'm very grateful. And I keep asking myself, it's not because I'm paying them humongous salaries, but it's because I have experienced with them. I have allowed them to grow. In fact, all my employees are not where they were when they started. I started them from junior position and then grew them depending on their muscle. And I want to really congratulate Waithaka of Centonomy. I watched Waithaka becoming the CEO of Centonomy, and I just sat there and I said, wow, what a 10th year anniversary gift for Centonomy. And until you can do that as an owner of a business, then you're not grown yet. So for me, my dream is, but I'm not sure if I'll reach 10. I want to do it earlier, you know, so that I can go and do other businesses, not go and sit and retire, but then start other businesses and trust somebody like Waithaka to run the business. And so paying myself was difficult, but then it's been very exciting, because then it has taught me to spend my own money from my account, because it was comfortable paying with a business account. You know, you feel like then that money doesn't get finished. You know, as an adult, you kind of get spoiled and you want endless money. There's no endless money. So running 2 accounts requires discipline, but it's been exciting, because then some spend is personal and it's private. It does not need to go into the books of the business. So far it's been exciting. I've spoken about investing excess money. Something else I want to talk about Centonomy, about personal money, is also that I take the privilege of studying things that are necessary for the business using the business account. I mean, the business, if we have money, then it can pay for me to go and learn. So in the Centonomy program, I learned things like digital marketing. And I remember very clearly, the person who was taking us for the class really insisted about, as the CEO of the organization, many people are comfortable being the one running their social media pages. Please note, digital marketing is not only posting. There is so much. It was a whole topic. And for me, as I sat in that class, I just kept thinking, when will this end? And immediately after, I promoted someone else who was working for us indirectly. And she happens to be my daughter. My daughter went into the Centonomy, not Centonomy, but she attended a class by the facilitator of the program, because in the Centonomy class, it's only a snippet of the class that is offered. And so she joined the class, and today she's running her own business in social media, in digital marketing, and she's also our consultant. And so for me, I can sit comfortable knowing that anything to do with our social media pages, it's not me running with it. It's being run by an expert who understands it. Because it's not about just the social media pages, but even email marketing. How do we sit out there? And so if you look at our pages as True International, we are very visible, and that's not my responsibility. For me, it's just to go in and like and share and retweet. That is my work, yeah? I also attended a course on pricing for consultants. It was really difficult for my kind of business to, you know, not all businesses are standard in terms of how do you price. And so I had a difficult pricing because my business is almost like consulting, where I am contracted to give out outsourced agents or field agents. And so somebody wants to know, for this number of days, for this number of agents, how much do you charge us? And so that was difficult, and it was not cast on stone. And so going in for the class of pricing for consultants helped me to really know the benchmark, because then there can never be a definite cost. But then once you know that this is the standard, because then you have to take care of your overheads, you have to make sure you have removed all the expenses of the business, then add and know how much to charge. And so you are just guided into then how much should you go down to? Because that is the worst undertaking for business people. We do not know how to price our products or our services. And so this helped me a lot and guided me a lot and made me a better money manager. So it's exciting when I sit down with my accountant today and we agree on some of these things. I'm not yet there so far. I'm still working on myself, because then some clients really bargain. But one thing I want to take credit for is that today, I just don't take up everything. There are businesses I say no to. I would desire to take them up, but then I have burnt my fingers at some point in business, which has taught me not to go for everything. And so that has been my experience. I also learned that to be a good money manager, I had to learn to let go of some of my employees, depending on the contracts that were in my hands. I would have loved to keep them because they were loyal, they were young, upcoming people. But then as the CEO, at some point, you have to remain with a lean workforce, especially during low seasons of business. And so it's been exciting running this business. We look forward to going international. We look forward to getting more innovative solutions to take to the market. Yes.
Truphosa, you are amazing as always, so insightful. Yeah, I remember that you were in the class during the season where as Centonomy, we were changing the leadership structure of the business, which was, I'm telling you, it was quite a tough moment to see and to go through, but also humbling and also quite amazing that our founder, for those who have not listened, our founder is a lady called Waithaka Ndwati. I'm sure many of you know her. And she was CEO of the company for 10 years. And in her 10th year, she decided that this character called Waithaka should take over and take the business on. And that's quite humbling, but also amazing to have been part of. Thank you so much, Truphosa. You should see the amount of notes Yani have been taking over here. All these are your notes on the points that you have brought up. I hope everyone has been doing the same. This is Mukune Catherine Munga. She says, so educative. This is on Facebook, giving an expert to manage social media. That's what she was talking about. And what I'm taking away from you, Truphosa, which is so powerful, is that as the entrepreneur, you don't have to do everything. I love your attitude of bringing on board the right person to bring the value that you're talking about. You talked about bringing on an accountant as early as possible because you said money is not my thing, business development is my thing. So can I get someone to do that? You talked about bringing your daughter on board and saying, you know what, you're skilled at this social media thing, go out and get it. For those who are wondering, during the Centonomy Entrepreneur Program, we also support our alumni with various trainings that come up along the way. And the example that Truphosa was talking about, we did facilitate for our alumni a session on Facebook marketing. And we got somebody who was an expert to come on board and actually train in that area. And that's how our businesses are able to benefit from that. I love that you talked about records in business, especially around the money, and saying, you know what, that's what separates between a business and a hobby. It's money. If we get the money side right, that's what gets us there. From what you said, we used to run a program, and we'll be running it in future as well, called Pricing for Consultants. But what we have done, I just want to quickly show you here, Truphosa, because you came on board very early, so you got a different experience. We used to do it separately, but now we have 2 accounting sessions, which is module 8 and module 12. And in module 12, we brought on board the content that used to be taught in the pricing, so that it assists the entrepreneur to look at their pricing strategy in the program itself. I remember this is something that we have added recently, and Truphosa, you know, as here at Centonomy, anytime that we've learned new content, it is thrown in the program, even if it's live while people are there, because we want to give you the best experience. But there are a couple of questions, Truphosa, if you don't mind, that have come through that I wanted to ask you. Some of these are just very interesting. Managing those people. Oh, that one was so tough. How do you manage your employees' expectations when it comes to money in your business? Truphosa, did you get the question?
Yes, I did. When it comes to money, the expectations on money.
Yes.
Okay. I hired, my style of hiring is very different. I hire skill in terms of what is your experience? Where have you been in terms of, because then our work involves dealing with, for example, field agents mainly. Then for me, I hire, my leadership style is one of influence, yeah? I am more a person who leads by influence more than managing. So I give my employees freedom. So we have an open forum of relation in the organization. But then when it comes to the expectations of money, I work with a minimal salary or retainer for my employees. And then I have a way of rewarding their efforts through giving them rewards, you know, on top of their salaries or their retainers. Then there's a possibility of earning rewards based on meeting targets. So you always earn extra. So for example, an agent could earn commission, but then when they do more than that, then there's a what they earn, maybe an allowance or, you know, extras that were not there in the contract. When it comes to a team leader, then the effort of the team, once they meet their targets and over they exceed the expectations, then there's also a reward that comes with it, same as the regional manager. So I have added a reward system, and this I picked from my insurance days. There's a lot of awards that agents or salespeople in insurance receive, and this motivates them. When I was in insurance, I got a trip to the Mara. I didn't have to pay for it. I was managing a team that met their targets, and then the company sent me to Masai Mara with a team, smaller team that had also qualified. And so some of these good things is what gives people loyalty into organizations more than salaries.
Wow. And when we're talking about, that's amazing. I hope people are taking notes that motivation is not always money, isn't it, Truphosa? It's not always money. That recognition actually makes a difference. One of the things that I really picked from your discussion, and I know we talked about it, especially in the accounting modules in the entrepreneurship program, was this idea of projections. I think that if a business cannot project what they're hoping to achieve, that's one of the major issues, even as far as paying yourself is concerned. Because Truphosa, I know when you started 2020, you said this is our goal, and because of that goal, you're able to work backwards and say how much you have to do per month. Talk a little bit about the projections in your business and how you've handled that.
And so over the years, because then when you begin business, you do not know a lot. So from experience, then you know how to project big and average, and just like in sales, we had a cold client, a warm client, and a hot client, and so you're able to project in like phases, so that in very then that makes it possible to have a fallback position, so that in case this is not met, at least this is met. Because like in this season of COVID, so much changed. There was a possibility of shutting down business. And so we had to go into cost-saving measures. And because then we did not have very excess projections, it was easy to go back and take care of our costs without really burning our fingers a lot.
That's right. That's right. And when there was a question earlier on about how do you decide how much to pay yourself? It's a factor of those projections. In any business, you're looking, and I wanted to respond directly to that because it has come up a few times. How do I know how much to pay myself? So there are two things. So the first thing is, how much value are you bringing to the business? You can measure that value, and Truphosa, when you are starting your business, you are bringing the value of a CEO, having experience in other businesses. So you can measure that and say, what would somebody in another business doing what I'm doing earn, and kind of benchmark on that level. But the second level is, how much are you producing? So that you can say, if I'm going to do, and I know you're great at business development, you can sell to anybody. When you say, I'm going to bring in 10 million shillings worth of revenue to my company, what would I pay somebody who would bring the value of 10 million into my business? And you can begin to work through that. But the other thing that now you begin to say is, if that is the amount of revenue I'm expecting to bring, and we talk about this in the class, then you work backwards and say, if that is the amount, then I make that the target. So that if the company is working, my team, my sales team, everybody is aiming for that amount, so that we're able to cover our costs, including myself. So we use multiple tools to benchmark and also to project, because it's not just about benchmarks. Truphosa, I know when you are starting your business, you didn't just want to earn what you were earning before. Isn't that true?
Waithaka, let me tell you this. Everybody always wants to be a millionaire.
Yes.
And when you get into business, you want to earn well, but then your passion becomes more for the business than for yourself. And I want to say these are some of the lessons I've picked too. So if you want to your business to go far, you will not squander the money. And so I also wanted to be this kind of entrepreneur that is loyal, in terms of loyal to the business. And so I didn't want to pay myself too much compared to what the others are earning. But then I remember I used to have a mentor who helped me a lot initially when I had not sat down to do the pricing course.
Yeah.
And so I would go to him and I would ask him, this is the situation I'm in. How much do you charge? And because he knew me from my previous life, he told me, Truphosa, this is your cost per hour, And so if it was a good contract, then I would pay myself this. But depending on the kind of business that was in my hand or projections, then I just paid myself an average. And then at the end of the year, then I would pay myself a bonus or something. Yeah.
And that's the power, and that's what people often forget about being an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur eats 3 times in their business. And I find that to be just so amazing. If you pay yourself a salary, you are eating, and that keeps you going through the year. I love what you said. At the end of the year, based on the performance of the business, because you're a director in that business, you can declare a dividend, and that dividend is your own personal bonus. Now you pay yourself again. You have eaten twice. The third time is when you build such a good structure, such that your business is an asset. Other people will be interested in investing, and this is what usually brings the most wealth to entrepreneurs, is when your business is so valuable that someone else wants a piece of it. And so they come and they buy shares in your business. That money goes to you. because you built the value in it. So as an entrepreneur, if you build the right structure in your business, you're going to eat 3 times. And that's why entrepreneurs are the wealthiest people in the world. Parting shot, Truphosa, so that I can tell people how to join the class and make sure that they get the value they want.
My parting shot is, I feel for Kenyans. A lot of us sit with a lot of skill. I know because I've been in employment, just like Eunice said, when I was employed, I gave all my employers my best. I never had a double dealing exercise where I ran a business on the side and I was employed. And so I ate from my salary and I ate for my business. And so when I've gone into business now, I give it my all. And you know what? It pays back, because then I maximized my opportunity in the organization to learn the most. And I remember rising from a mere salesperson in the insurance companies all the way to management, just because I was loyal. And so I want to encourage most employees to be loyal to what they have in their hands, because people are not giving their best in the organizations they're employed at, because then they are busy doing side hustles. And so why don't you employ somebody to run your side hustle and just manage it properly, compared to you trying to do everything and failing at both? That is my parting shot.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. As always, thank you so much. I told you guys to expect it, and it came. Thank you so much, Truphosa. Thank you so much, Eunice. If we have a bit more time, we might take a few more questions. And thank you so much to Michael Oyier also for the insights that he brought. Guys, you can imagine if you've learned something in just the few minutes that you've been here, you can imagine what it would be like if you come into the Centonomy Entrepreneurship Program. This one is designed for you. It's a 14-week class. It starts on the 16th of February, 2021. You can start making payments today. As I said, these are the modules that we go through: the mindset, design thinking, fear and vision, structure, my favorite class, that's the one I take, and strategy, marketing. And now we bring in industry experts to come and train you so that you're able to apply that information and the knowledge that you have immediately. This is not an academic class. This is about how do you run a proper business. Then we talk about money, working capital, accounting, raising capital. How do you deal with investors? We talk about tax and legal issues, and these are all taught by lawyers as well. And then we get back into the money for the business and for yourself. If you are interested, the class is, the commitment as far as your time is concerned is only 1 class per week for 12 weeks. So you come in for a 3-hour class once in a week, and you go and begin to apply the knowledge to your business. In our class, we say, go and speak to your customer. If you have not started your business yet, we say, go and speak to your expected customer. That means that there's no class that you're going to come into, and this is things that you're going to apply 10 years from now. The idea is, how do you begin to do the work today? So we do the classes on Wednesdays and on Saturdays. The timings are there: 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. East African time, and 9 a.m. To 12 p.m. on Saturday, East African time as well, pretty close to what we're doing just now. Because you have signed in today and been part of this, we have a special offer for registration. You can register today for only 1,100 shillings. We've given you 1,000 off on that, plus the 10% lockdown discount, which is going on at the moment on the tuition fee. So you can pay that in 2 ways. You can pay that as a 3 monthly installment as the class goes on, starting in February, March, and April in 2021. And the amounts are there: 19,000, 19,000, 13,000, which are on the screen. But I can see there are some people who are saying, I think I saw some, Elizabeth Karanja on Facebook, I see you there. Elizabeth is asking, but I don't have the money right now. I understand, and I get it. And so at Centonomy, we want to help you. You can use the Centonomy Entrepreneur Lipa Pole Pole payment plan. You can start actually now, because in business, we know that it's all about the cash flow management. So you can start, excuse me, paying from now, 10,000 this month, 10,000 December, 8, 8, 8, and 7, just to make the cash flow pressure a little bit easier for us as entrepreneurs. We want to make sure that you're getting great value on top of the 10% lockdown discount on our programs that we're running just now. If you want more information, please reach out to Ruby. Her details are there on the screen at the bottom there. And if you want to make that payment, please do so right now. The registration special offer for you, because you came into this session, you gave us your 2 hours on a Saturday morning. You get 1,000 bob off on the registration. You can pay via M-Pesa, and the M-Pesa pay bill number is 986850. The account number is your first name plus the letters ENT. So the example would be Waithaka ENT, so that we know which program it is that you're signing up for. The bank details are also up there on the screen. I just want to say this on behalf of the Centonomy team, that we're so grateful for your time that you showed up. We've been as respectful as possible of it. As possible, we started on time and we're going to end now. As Michael Oyier said at the beginning, it's all about execution. If you have the right skill set and the right mentorship to get you there, you will succeed. Truphosa said it right and Eunice said it right. Running a business is not easy. Therefore, if you have the skills to run the business and you have been trained on those things, how much better and easier it will be for you to find the success that you want. Here at Centonomy, we want you to create wealth and to live abundantly. So we are asking you right now, make that investment on your behalf so that you're able to multiply the effect. One of the issues, as I said, it breaks my heart that in Kenya, the last time we heard of an IPO was too long ago. We're waiting for that next business. And you can hear the results of all these alumni who are coming through. They're coming. Those IPOs are coming. It takes a bit of time, but we need to build that strategy that will get us to the point where the wealth is brought not just to ourselves, but to our local economies and to the continent of Africa. You can have a great idea, but that is completely different from a great business. We at the Centonomy Entrepreneur want to give you the skills to transform that idea into a great business. If you're already running a business, if you're already running it, but there's no separation between your personal money, the business money, you don't even know where it's going, you're struggling to bring in investment, the entrepreneurship program is to help you to build the structure that will allow you to do those things and bring in the investment that you want. And then if you're thinking about now, how do I grow? My business is running well, and I'm just looking for that tweak, that understanding of how to raise capital and grow beyond that. It's what this program is designed for. So I'm encouraging you, do sign up right now. It will make a huge difference for you. We'll be on for a couple more minutes, maybe answering a few questions along the way, but we want to give you that empowerment. It's so odd to hear when we're here and you hear of an entrepreneur working so hard, but they're not seeing the results of their work. It's often simply because we didn't understand the structure of money in business, and that's what we're here for. So we want you to go out and create wealth. Thank you so much. Elizabeth, I told you, Elizabeth Karanja on Facebook, the Lipa Pole Pole plan is just for you so that you can be able to get there. Vicky Kahiga on Facebook, you said you just stumbled onto this. Thank you for stumbling in and sticking with us. We're so grateful that you stuck with us. I hope you've learned something as well. To everyone who tuned into the webinar on Zoom, we are so grateful. The time to register for the program is just now. If there are any more questions, you can be able to let us know. My team here at Centonomy, just let me know. Ruby, I know you are in the room. Ruby, are you there? Anything else that you'd like to let the people know before we end this session?
Hi, Waithaka.
Hi.
So I think you've covered everything, but I would just want to extremely appreciate each and everyone who's attended this webinar today, and also really appreciate you, Waithaka, for doing an excellent job at moderating. I appreciate the speakers, Michael Oyier, Eunice, Maina, and Truphosa Hapisu. Thank you so much for sharing with us the great insights. We have learned so much. Waithaka, as you are sharing, for me as well, my notebook is almost full. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Excellent. So this content will be available on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel. So in case you came in a bit late, you can always rewind and be able to find the content. It will be available here. As we said, the Centonomy Entrepreneurship Program, this one will change your life. It will start on the 16th of February, 2021. It is designed to help you build a great business. We cover all these modules that are there on the screen for 14 weeks. It is not academic, it is practical. You heard Truphosa talk about it, you heard Eunice talk about it, you heard Michael talk about it, how they are good. It has transformed their businesses and given them the freedom to get there. You have 2 payment plans, as we said. Register today. Everyone, this is a good deal for you. We've given you 1,000 bob for being here. Register with 1,100 today. The details for registration with that 1,000 bob, 1,100 are on M-Pesa or via bank. I'll leave this up on the screen shortly. Followed by 3 monthly installments once the class starts. Or you can start with the Centonomy Entrepreneur Lipa Pole Pole payment plan. Once you register today, we'll give you all the details that you need. Ruby will reach out to you personally and give you those details, and you'll be able to get there. Mary Maura, you missed Michael's session. Don't worry, go back to our YouTube channel, our Facebook channel, and you'll get everything that was there. Also, don't miss out in the class on 16th of February coming up in 2021. As always, such a pleasure here at Centonomy. We have a tradition. We usually pray at the end of our sessions. I hope you don't mind if I say a prayer over you. Thank you, Lord, for this moment to learn and to grow, for all those who are going to build great businesses, to lift others up and to create wealth for our continent here in Africa. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. God bless you all. See you in class, February 2021. It's going to be great.